Okay, so I'm going to closely read this article. It's from Rolling Stone magazine. It's called Boss Hog Part 1. From the title, I can pretty much tell that hog kind of means pig, so I think it's about pigs, something about pigs. And Part 1 tells me that there's probably more to it than just this one article. There's a little caption underneath it that says, America's top pork churns out a sea of waste that has destroyed rivers, killed millions of fish, and generated one of the largest fines in EPA history. Welcome to the dark side of the other white meat. So America's top pork producer churns out a sea of waste. That's basically kind of what it's telling me, and that has contributed to destroying rivers and killing millions of fish. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Smithfield Foods, the largest and most profitable pork processor in the world, killed 27 million hogs last year. Okay, and so the subject of that is Smithfield Foods, which leads me to believe that this is going to be mostly what it's about, and probably Smithfield Foods is the America's top pork producer. And they killed 27 million hogs last year. Hogs produce 3 times more excrement than human beings do. So hogs produce 3 times more excrement. Excrement might be a word that we're not familiar with. I happen to know what it means, but that might be a tricky one for you. So if it is, you should probably put a question mark there. Than human beings do. And we'll see if we can't figure out what that is going forward. The 500,000 pigs at a single Smithfield farm generate more fecal matter each year than the 1.5 million inhabitants of Manhattan. Wow. So, okay, the 500,000 pigs generate is the verb, more fecal matter, and that's most likely the excrement. I think it just means pig poop. Each year than 1.5 million inhabitants of Manhattan. Okay, so the pigs produce lots of waste. That's basically what that's telling me. The best estimate put Smithfield's total waste discharge at 26 million tons a year. Okay, whenever I see numbers like this, a strategy I like to do is underline it, because that might be data that I could use if I'm collecting information for something like a research paper or even an argumentative essay. That would fill 4 Yankee stadiums. That's a lot. Wow. Okay, Smithfield's pigs live by, let's see if I can get you guys in there. Smithfield's pigs live by the hundreds or thousands in warehouse-like barns. So they live in barns in rows of wall-to-wall pens. Sows are artificially inseminated. Okay, that might be a tricky word. I'm going to kind of put a question mark and see if I can't figure out what that is. And fed and delivered of their piglets in cages so small they cannot turn around. So it sounds like this makes them have piglets. And they have piglets in an area that's so small they can't even turn around. So they live in small pens. They can't turn around. 40 full-grown, 250-pound male hogs often occupy a pen the size of a tiny apartment. My goodness. So the pigs are overcrowded. That's basically what I'm getting from all of this. And if I look at this right here, and this whole paragraph as a whole, it's shaping up to be describing all the different horrible conditions that the pigs live in. They trample each other to death. Ugh. There is no sunlight, straw, fresh air, or earth. The floors are slatted to allow excrement to fall into a catchment pit under the pens. So the floors are slatted to allow excrement to fall into a catchment pit under the pens. Okay, so right now I know this right here is just a paragraph all about the horrible conditions, living conditions of the pigs, and that's just an important thing for us to remember as we're summarizing the different sections. The temperature inside hog houses is often hotter than 90 degrees. So the temperature is hotter than 90 degrees. It's very hot. The air, saturated almost to the point of precipitation with gases from feces and chemicals, can be lethal. So the air can be lethal, okay, to the pigs. Enormous exhaust fans run 24 hours a day. The ventilation systems function like the ventilators of terminal patients, If they break down for any length of time, pigs start dying. Okay, so fans pretty much keep them alive. Okay, I'm going to just kind of make that notation over here. And again, if I'm looking at this paragraph as a whole, again, this is just really about the temperature and the air conditions in the barns. From Smithfield's point of view, the problem with this lifestyle is immunological. Oh, there's a big word. Okay, let me see if I can't figure it out going forward. Taken together, the immobility, poisonous air, and terror of confinement badly damage the pig's immune systems. Okay, so that tells me probably what this means, since I see immune both of them. Basically, their immobility, the poisonous air, and the terror contributes to them not being able to not stay well, because they have bad immune systems because of all these different horrible conditions. So I can see that those things lead to this. They become susceptible to infection, and in such dense quarters, microbes or parasites or fungi once established in one pig will rush sprite-like through the whole population. Okay, so their immune systems are damaged. Immune systems damaged, and they can easily get infections. Okay, that's basically what that's telling me if I'm summarizing that. And worse yet, it can spread. That seems to be the big problem there. Accordingly, factory pigs are infused with a huge range of antibiotics and vaccines and doused with insecticides. Okay, so because they often get sick, they give them lots of antibiotics and vaccines and insecticides. Okay, these are all the results of them getting sick. And if I'm looking at text structure, really, these are the effects of this right here, which is the cause, which is their immune system is damaged. And their immune system is damaged because of their immobility, the poisonous air, and their terror of staying in such badly confined spaces. So they give them all these drugs, it looks like. So without these compounds, oxytetracycline, ooh, that's a hard word, Draxin, cetiphortimolin, diseases would likely kill them. So I see these are big words that most likely, if they say, it says without these compounds, so those are really like antibiotics, and without them, without the antibiotics, they'll die. Okay? So, thus, and there's my thus, that kind of leads us to the idea that this is a cause and effect thing. Thus, factory farm pigs remain in a state of dying until they're slaughtered. So until they're slaughtered, they're almost always dying. And that seems to be the ultimate cause of all of the problems here. So until they're slaughtered, they're in a state of dying the whole time. So, let's see. When a pig nearly ready to be slaughtered grows ill, workers sometimes shoot it up with as many drugs as necessary to get it to the slaughterhouse until its own power. As long as the pig remains ambulatory, and there's a word I'm not sure of, it can be legally killed and sold as meat. So ambulatory sounds like as long as they can move. Okay, as long as a pig can move or walk, and I know amble means walk, which kind of makes me think that's what that means. It can be legally killed and sold as meat. Okay, so the final paragraph here. The drugs Smithfield administers to its pigs, of course, exit its hoghouses in pig feces. Feces are like pig poop. And it sounds like they're saying that the drugs that they give to all the pigs come out in the waste. So drugs come out in waste. Okay. Industrial pig waste also contains a host of other toxic substances: ammonia, methane, hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, cyanide, phosphorus, nitrates, and heavy metals. I don't need to know all of those. All I know is that they are toxic substances and they come out in the waste. So not only are drugs coming out in their waste, but also other toxic stuff is coming in, toxic waste as well. In addition, the waste nurses more than 100 microbial pathogens that can cause illness in humans, including Salmonella, Cryptosporidium, Streptococcus, and Giardia. Now, I'm not obviously going to be able to know what all of those mean, but all I know for sure is that they are illnesses caused to humans. So those drugs that come from the waste and their toxic waste affect humans. Okay, that's basically what I mostly need to know, and they can make us ill. Each gram of hog feces can contain as much as 100 million fecal coliform bacteria. Okay, so overall, I've pretty much gone through the whole article. I've taken notes, summarized where I could, circled some of the verbs. I've tried to look at specific paragraphs and tell what structure it is. For instance, this one is a list of conditions. This one is a list of air conditions. This is what happens when they are, what happens because they are so badly affected by their immune systems that we have to give them tons of drugs. And then, of course, by giving them the drugs, it goes out of their waste and it affects humans.